There are times when I just want to say, I could just be a consultant, get those 90% margins rather than run this complicated, low margin company. But no, I've never completely quit. But there have been days when I was like legitimately considering it, like, ah, fuck this. But I've had days when I was literally like started making plans, and it didn't work out, and things always got better because I just kept doing things. But
All right, Chris M. Walker, welcome to Beyond Fulfillment.
hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate you taking the time. So, Chris, you are the founder and CEO of a platform called Legit. But prior to that, you've got a quite a fascinating entrepreneurial journey where you started out of sheer necessity and you overcame some incredible adversity. So, just to set the stage for our audience, could you talk about your backstory and how you became an entrepreneur?
Yeah, for sure. I've always felt like that I was going to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't really ever like take it seriously. But then I guess it was around 2013, 2012, 2013, I was working as a level one tech support for a real estate developer. Basically, the guy that you call when your password is locked out or whatever. And was not making enough money to really do anything. I was behind on some debt, like some student loan debt, some credit card debt, and I needed to make some extra money. And so instead of like spending my day at my job doing my job, I was just Googling and looking for things. And one day I stumbled across a blog post about affiliate marketing. And if, I don't know what your audience is like, but if affiliate marketing is basically where you sell somebody else's product and you get a commission and you do it on the internet. And I started doing that because it sounded really cool. I did okay with that. I made a little bit of money here and there. For a while, I got to where I was doing okay with it, but and by making like blogs about specific topics and then making commissions through them. And I was getting most of my traffic from Google, not knowing that what I was doing was called SEO, but that's what it was. And I bring that up because then in 2013, I believe, late 2013, there was a Google update, which I didn't even know was a thing. And apparently I've been doing SEO the wrong way, and it wiped away all the traffic I was getting, and then all the money that I was making. So it was like at that point I kind of had made some money, and I'd kind of gotten bitten by the bug, if you will. So I started trying different things, and I invested in an SEO course that was outrageously expensive to me at the time. It was $1,000. I had to pay for it with PayPal credit. But that's when, in that course, it started talking about something called client SEO, where you would work with like a local business and improve their search ranking, and they pay for it, which again never even occurred to me. So I thought that sounded interesting, so I started working on that. And again, at that same day job, sending emails, like I just pick a niche, like an industry, and just started emailing people saying, "Can I work on your website?" And I did okay doing that. Like I would never do that today, but it worked here and there. I would get responses. When I would get a response, I would have to like because I was still at my job, have to go into the bathroom to take calls because obviously I'm not supposed to be doing that while I'm working. And that started doing okay for me. And then around 2015, I there was a website that opened up that was kind of like a marketplace for freelancers. So you could like for SEO, so you could like list your whatever little bit service you did here and there. And on a whim, I listed a service there that I didn't even really know how to do. I just resold it from somebody else, not thinking anything would ever come of it. And then one day I was at the gym. I remember I was on the elliptical and I got a PayPal notification on my phone for $10. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I finally figured out it was a sale on that site. And then I was like, well, that's cool. And I got another one and another one and another one. And then I started selling another service for a piece of software that I had bought and never used. I just sold like individual uses of it. And I got a bunch of sales for that. And then an influencer in that industry saw it and like endorsed that service. And then I started getting a ton of sales from that. And so between that and the client SEO around August of 2026, or excuse me, 2016, I was able to finally quit that job and do my own stuff full time. And that was going okay until late 2017 when I was making a lot of money through that website, but that website ended up like going to crap. Like it was getting hacked, it was crashing and things like that. So I don't know why, but like I had started funneling my customers from that website into a Facebook group so I could like get to know them and just sell them stuff and whatever. And so when that happened, I started selling my stuff through my own site because I needed that revenue. So I was just selling it to the people on my Facebook group and a little bit of email. And I had made friends with the freelancers on that other site. And some of them saw what I was doing and they're like, well, can we sell through your website too? And I was like, oh, all right, maybe I'm onto something here. So I had met a customer on that site that was a developer, and I partnered with him to launch a marketplace to kind of replace what we all lost from that other site. And thinking it would just be like an extra product for my SEO business, but within the first month, that was my number one revenue source, and it's grown. It's been over 8 years now. That's legit my business that we have today, and it's grown month over month, every single month except for April of 2020, which if you were around back then, you know why. That was the only bad month we ever had. And yeah, that's kind of where I started. And
Quick word from today's partner, NordVPN. Building a business means working from anywhere. Coffee shops, airports, hotel Wi-Fi. NordVPN encrypts your connection and protects your data in over 100 countries, all with one tap. Grab the link in the show notes for a big discount and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Now back to the show. Okay. All right. Wow. So quite interesting. So you start your quote SEO journey out of sheer necessity, right? You're at this job doing tech support. You're not making enough money, behind on your bills. You want to do something extra, so you start this little side hustle and just kind of fumbling your way through it, right? Mm-hmm. Learning some stuff, taking action. You start making some sales, and even like you said, taking calls in the bathroom because you're at your corporate job and you're not supposed to be doing this, but yet you're trying to survive, basically. And so the first, the Google Penguin update, you get past that, and then you keep moving forward. You learn this affiliate marketing. You start making some real money, and then you're able to finally quit your job. And then when you founded Legit, you kind of stumbled into an actual, and not like what you're doing wasn't a real business, but it sounds like you started a business kind of on accident because you stumbled across this really lucrative idea and revenue stream that all of a sudden just you needed to scale, and you saw the opportunity and just went ahead and did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that right?
I mean, I could paint that story as I was a genius business person that saw this opportunity and I had to take it, which is a little bit true. Like, I did see the opportunity, but it was more because I needed to keep that money coming in, and then like other people wanted to do it too. I was like, well, we'll just try this and see what happens. And it's been bigger than I could have ever dreamed.
And so when you're learning your way through all this SEO stuff, was there ever any hesitation, or because it sounds like you just took that messy, imperfect action, really because you just needed to eat, you needed to survive, you needed money. Doesn't sound like you hesitated or you were afraid at all.
Well, I mean, we're always a little bit afraid, no matter how much we admit it. If I had to say, you're making me sound a little better than I actually was. Like, I tried a bunch of other little things online here and there. Like, I did surveys. I had this business where I would resell stuff from Amazon Prime on eBay, which is totally against Amazon Prime terms of service. But like, I would just ship it directly to the customer and upcharge them on eBay. I bought every little shiny object that came along. It's just, this is the one that really like stuck for me. I had no burning passion to do SEO or anything like that. But yeah, basically I just kept doing stuff until something worked.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So you certainly didn't have a problem taking action, right? Maybe you took a whole bunch of actions, like you said, a lot of mistakes, a lot of failures, and this is the one that stuck. So when you found Legit, right? When you realized this is working and there's a real opportunity here, and then you partnered with someone to actually found a real company that you needed to start like scaling and hiring employees. What was that process like, considering you didn't have a background in that and you weren't really planning to do that?
Yeah, so I waited way too long to make my first hire. As recently as, well, it's not recent anymore, but as recently as like late 2017, I was doing literally everything myself. I mean, the fulfillment, the marketing, the sales, literally everything. And it was a terrible idea. I should have hired someone sooner. I eventually hired one person, and just to give him like one little task to take off my hands, which was easy but time consuming. And just overnight, that like changed my business. And that person's still with me today, by the way, almost 10 years later. Um, and then as the needs just came up, like I just started filling things in. And I'd had a little bit of management experience in like retail and things earlier in my life. But I certainly never intended to be like a leader or anything like that. But it's, we've added we need this person, and then that as the business grows, then you find a need for a marketing person, and then you need more developers, and then you need more customer support. We just kind of added people as we went, and I just kind of figured it out as I went. Really though, I just found that if you just give people clear like expectations and you treat them the way that you wanted to be treated, it's not that hard to manage people. Maybe I've been fortunate that I've had some very, very good and talented and dedicated people. But also, this all started because I had a job that I hated, and I wanted to make it something like that. And I never want anyone else to feel that way about working with us. And it's worked really, really well. We've only ever had like three people leave over those 10 years, almost 10 years, and none of them were like related to the company or anything like that. It was just, other things. So I'm actually very proud of the team and the culture that we've built that way.
Hey, let me tell you about Max Capital Hub. If you're an entrepreneur trying to get funding, but your credit's holding you back, these are the people to call. They do business loans, business funding, and they'll actually help you clean up your credit so you qualify for more. They're not just handing you paperwork, their team builds an actual strategy around your business. So if you've been stuck or the bank has told you no, give Max Capital Hub a call or book a free consultation at maxcapitalhub.com. Tell them I sent you. That's interesting too, right? Because again, you don't really have experience setting up a company or really running like an actual organization, but yet previous experience, like your last job as an employee was, I guess, so like, tell me if this is right, it was so bad that you use that as a way to like, I don't want anyone that works for me to feel this way, so I'm going to make sure I treat them differently.
I want to say that some of the people from that job still follow me, and I always feel bad when I talk bad about it, that they weren't necessarily the problem. It just, I was partly the problem, and it just wasn't what I wanted to be doing and wasn't where I was going to be. So like, and I'm not like fully putting them down, but I was completely miserable. Yes.
Okay. Got it. So beyond that, right? So clearly you got the culture right. What was the process like as you're adding more employees and as you're having to navigate the different levels, right? As this company scales up, because like you said, you waited too long to make the first hire. Sounds like you had a problem. Like a lot of entrepreneurs have problems letting things go, right? Delegating
as good as I can. Yeah.
Yeah. So once you made that first hire, like what was the trajectory from there? How did you guys scale up?
So the first one was somebody that just worked in my SEO business, and he kind of does did a little bit of everything. Then it was just kind of as the need arose. Like once we launched Legit, one thing that I'm very strong on is customer like support. I hate when I go to a site and like you open the customer support chat and it's like, we'll be back to you in 2 to 3 days. Now we've always had 24/7 human being customer support. And that was the next hire that we made, was a customer support person. And the thing was, it was a new platform. So like for the first few months, I was doing all the customer support myself because I didn't know how to train anybody because there was nothing to train them on. I was figuring that out. So we hired that. And that taught us a lot. Like our biggest expense, even to this day, is customer support staff. So learning that. And then once I got that off my plate, then I realized I would look at the other things I was doing personally and that I wasn't the best at, and start hiring people for that. So community management or marketing or sales or whatever. So it's really just finding a need and then like finding people to fill it. And like one thing that I've been burned on is using too many agencies. I haven't had a lot of success using agencies rather than using employees. So I kind of prefer to have new employees. And I don't necessarily look for skill. Obviously, they have to have some skill or ability to do the thing, but I've hired people that were really like big supporters and really dedicated, but I didn't necessarily have a role for because I believe that I can give someone the skill if they have the desire, the dedication, and the right like emotional intelligence fit.
Now, how did you develop that mindset in terms of like hiring for the actual, not the skill? I guess sounds like you can teach the skill, but more so hiring for the intangibles as far as dedication and loyalty and that type of thing.
I I, I don't know that it's something I consciously like decided this is how I'm gonna be. Some of it came from hiring different like marketing agencies and things like that, and all of them sucked. Some of it is just kind of maybe I value, maybe it has been to my detriment in some cases, but I value the person and the loyalty and the support and the dedication rather than just somebody who's good at Facebook ads or whatever, like that. And I don't know. I just believe that like if somebody's dedicated, you can always find something for them to do. And I get to know them very, very well and think highly of them and consider, I don't want to say they're like a family because that's like corporate, like cliche at this point, but it's kind of true. I just wanted to be around people that I wanted to work with. And if they wanted to work with me, there was always a way they were going to find a way to make it work. And that's largely been true. Like when we've done like hired guns, agencies or like highly recommended people. There's in every industry. There's this is the person that you hire for this. That never works out for me. And maybe I've just got unrealistic expectations or something. I don't know. But what I've learned was that hire the person and teach the skill. And again, that's like it's not quite that literal because like they do have to have some ability, but it's worked out better that way to have someone that's like a little bit good at the skill but really dedicated.
Yeah, it's that reminds me of that saying is that hard work beats talent
That's
when
what I was looking
talent
for.
doesn't work hard, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I was looking for. I'm terrible with those kind of like quotes.
If you're still trying to hire locally for every role on your team, you're leaving serious money on the table. Ocean's Talent places AI fluent executive operators. We're talking finance, marketing, operations, EAs, fully vetted, full time, and dedicated to your business. These aren't freelancers or shared resources. They're US caliber talent at a fraction of the cost, backed by a 3-month guarantee. And right now, Beyond Fulfillment listeners get $1,000 off their first hire. Go to oceanstalent.com/Dave to claim it. Okay. And so how, given you've scaled up, you have now, what is it, 40 or so team members at this
Yeah,
point?
something like that. Yeah.
Okay. How is the rise of AI impacted the business and kind of your workforce over the last couple years?
So it's affected the not the internal part so much, a little bit. I'll get to that in a second. It's affected the sales quite a bit because like our business is partly like a marketplace, and one of the biggest categories was like content writers, and that used to be like a big revenue source for us, and that's completely gone now because people don't want to hire a writer to write a blog post for them. They want to type a sentence into ChatGPT or Claude and get it. As far as how it's affected us internally, we've used it to make a lot of things easier, particularly on the development side. Like we've scaled up to with a lot of like vibe coding and things like that. We haven't replaced anybody with AI, but we've definitely used it extensively to improve our processes and our things like that. So, that said, I do think that's the future. Like, there's just going to be less and less labor is going to have less and less value as we keep going forward. But for us, the biggest negative impact of AI has been on sales, although we've managed to pivot and get other things. But it definitely affected a lot of the freelancers on our site who relied on things like doing logos or doing content for their revenue.
And so when you look back at the journey, right, starting kind of out of sheer necessity and really struggling, barely able to survive and just trying all these different things, trying to make it, and then founding this company really on accident and scaling up 40 team members, and you've been in business just over 8 years. When you look back at this whole journey, what's been the best part of it for you?
I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say that the money has been very nice to go from where I was to where I am now. But I don't know. The best part is we have made a big difference for a lot of people. Like, we've got a lot of employees that like depend on us, but also the way the platform works is, customers buy things from the freelancer, and like we're just kind of in the middleman in between. And I've gotten some really, really heartwarming stories from some of our freelancers who the income they made through us has like changed their lives. Like I was living in my car and didn't know if I was going to make it. It helped a lot of our customers had, it's like really revolutionized their business in a lot of cases too. So those stories, both from the employees, the freelancers, and the customers, have been great. And of course, it's given me not just financially, but like it's given me opportunities to. I'm sitting in my second home in Vietnam right now, and those are the kind of opportunities I never would have had before. I've like spoken at events all over the world, and I'm just very, very grateful that life led me to that. So those are kind of the best things. The opportunities that it gave me to help other people have a better life.
Okay, love that. And this show too is all about the raw realities of entrepreneurship and kind of what it's really like. And you certainly lived through all that. So if other people are watching this and whether they have an ambition or they're maybe struggling right now, or like what would your advice be to other entrepreneurs that are going maybe through a similar struggle that you went through and overcame?
Tactical would be keep your personal expenses as low as you can for as long as you can. A lot of people seem to think that if I make more money, I have to up level my lifestyle. And it's just not true. Like, even now, I don't really spend a lot of money, although I'm kind of in a weird situation right now. But for a long time, I was living in like a $700 a month apartment and using a 10-year-old car. And when I could really afford it more, that allowed me to take a lot more risks and to be a lot more aggressive and invest a lot more in my business. And I just didn't care. Like, I didn't really need a lot of stuff. So that practically is probably the best advice for somebody that's struggling, is to keep your personal expenses as low as you possibly can so you can invest into it. And then, like, in the history of everything that works, there was a time when it didn't work. So just because if something isn't working doesn't mean it won't work eventually. So keep trying different things and then find the one that works for you, and then just keep optimizing for it. I saw an interview with Mr. Beast recently, and he was talking about how you can't be good at YouTube, because he's obviously like the biggest YouTuber in the world, and you can't be good at YouTube until you've made 100 videos, and for each of those videos you make one thing better from the last one. And he said that you don't talk to me about like getting good at YouTube until you've made 100 videos, and in each of those 100 videos you did something a little bit better than the one before, and then on video 101 he'll talk to you. And he says that, like, of the thousands of people that he's ever said that to, that nobody's ever taken him up on it. So keep just doing things and getting a little bit better, and it'll become impossible for you not to have success if you just keep taking action and keep improving.
If your business is an e-commerce brand, this message is for you. Logistics can make or break you. If you're tired of being just a number to those big box 3PLs, you need to check out our team at Easy DC 3PL. We're a different kind of partner, built specifically for growing brands that ship between 1,000 and 10,000 orders per month. We offer warehousing, fulfillment, and transportation with a focus on personalized service and flexibility. Our central Kentucky location gives you nationwide reach, turning logistics into a competitive advantage. So if you're ready to partner with a 3PL that actually gets your brand, visit easydc3pl.com. Through this whole journey, with all the hard times you went through, was there ever a point you thought about giving up?
Absolutely. I mentioned COVID earlier. COVID was, for the first couple months, was really, really hard for us, like it was for everyone, of course. That there were a couple times I was ready to just go put the site on Flippa for that. And then the other times were, we've taken it in the teeth quite a few times. Like, we've had issues where our payment processor would say, you can't sell those types of things. And like, that was our biggest category, gone overnight a couple times. We faced and I can't go into the details because of like the settlement, but we faced a huge amount of fraud that was mid six figures in value that cost us. And we've had fraud problems over and over again. And there are times when I just want to say, I could just be a consultant and get those 90% like margins and offer, my advice rather than run this complicated low margin company. But so there have been plenty of times when it's like that, when it's just stuff that's well beyond my control, which is not what I wanted to get into. And there are days when I just want to say this, sell out and then go do something else or go do nothing. But yeah, but no, I've never completely quit. But there have been days when, and not just days when there were days when I was like legitimately considering it. We all have bad days and where we want to be like, ah, fuck this. But I've had days when I was literally like started making plans and then it didn't work out and things always got better because I just kept doing things. But and just as a little side story, I've trained in like martial arts quite a bit in my life. What it taught me was that learning that getting actually hit in the face is not so bad. That it develops that skill for when life hits you in the face, metaphorically. You'll learn that it's not so bad and you can get through it. And that's kind of helped me with that line of way of thinking.
Love that. Okay. All right. And Chris, if people are hearing this and they want to get in touch with you online, learn more about Legit, or just reach out for any other reason, what's the best way people can find you online?
I've spent a lot of time on personal branding. So if you search for Chris M. Walker, you will find me on all the major platforms. If you want to talk to me directly, Facebook is probably the best one because I use that heavily. And then if you want to check, you can also message me directly through Legit, which is LEGIIT .com. And well, you can find me there as well.
Okay. And we will link all that in the show notes for everyone. All
Wonderful.
right. Well, Chris, thank you so much for taking the time to be here and sharing all this incredible wisdom from your journey with our listeners. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. It's a lot of fun.